And we are live. Happy days. Podcast number 3 for the Mental Coach. I'm here with my head coach, Peter Lavery. He is a black belt in BJJ and a multitude of other things. We'll get into that in a second anyway. So we're going to talk a lot today about, again, the mental health, about our club, about what we stand for, some of the things we do, and we're going to talk about our new timetable going forward as well. So I want to ask Peter first, how did you get into BJJ? What was your, not BJJ, how did you get into martial arts first? That wasn't BJJ at the start, was it?
No, whenever I first got into martial arts, it's because I was absolutely shit at football. That's a true story.
Every one of our guys.
All my mates played football, and I was the one that gets picked last.
It's me.
Right, I didn't get that. Right, they would have sent me for water or something because I was that bad at football. So I needed to get into something, and my first thing, I was about 9 years old, and I started in judo. There was a judo club in St. Augustine's School over in the Ravenhill Road, and I started there when I was 9.
9?
9, yeah.
Even I didn't know what.
So I started doing judo then. Then I went off to boarding school. I was there, and they told me that a judo club, and it wasn't. It was a karate club. So I got punched in the face, and it didn't go down very well. I've hated karate ever since that.
Oh my god, I likes karate.
So Danny Core does. He's a friend of mine, and he does like. So after that, I kind of drifted in and out of things for a while, and then I kind of got an urge to get back into something, and I went down to, there was a club in King Street, and I went down to actually start Thai with Frankie at the time, and I got the wrong night.
Frankie McConnell is?
Yeah. So I got the wrong night, and I come in, and there was a traditional Japanese Jiu-Jitsu class going on, Kempo Jiu-Jitsu, and I started that instead. I trained there with Big Stephen Sweeney, a really, really good friend of mine, Tom.
Big Stephen's animal.
Up until I got my black belt in that. There was a wee bit of a fallout with the coach at the time, so myself and Stephen, we left. I started then with Ross and Carroll as a white belt in Taijutsu Kai, and continued training with him up until 2nd degree black belt. In between that, we started in BJJ. So I decided I wanted to take the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu a bit more serious. So I started again from white belt in that, and now I got my black belt 2015.
Oh, I never forget whipping you.
I'm a first degree. I got my first degree black belt 3 years after that. So I've been kicking around for a while.
I was going to say about for me, the martial arts thing with me was when I started martial arts, it was simple. I just couldn't fucking fight, and I was involved in fights every fucking weekend, non-stop. It was just chaos, but it wasn't the big thing about the martial arts, about BJJ. I wanted you to talk about BJJ more, simply because I learned a lot about myself in BJJ, and you taught me a lot about myself in BJJ. But you're the expert in tough love. You are the tough love guy. I've been complaining about this guy for years, going, my head coach gives me such abuse. But here, listen.
There's a thing.
It was necessary.
There is a thing. I've taught the same way since I started my first school. Now, kyoujin's been going for, it'll be 26 years now. I remember that my twins were only just born whenever I started the class, as is. And I've taught the same way ever since. There's a thing, and I know that we focus, this podcast and your thing is mainly towards mental health and improving mental health.
Yeah. And
to be fair, you get people who, first of all, I think any sort of martial art, be it karate, judo, boxing, whatever, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, mixed martial arts, MMA, I'm involved in that to a degree, is brilliant for mental health. I think reasonably because it gives you a focus. And the other thing is, especially in my club, yeah, I do tend to shout every now and again, but
you shout more than I curse.
Oh, don't start doing it first, because we're going to get to that in a wee sec with your Tourette's. The thing is, what I see is, I see people coming in that haven't discovered how good they actually are. You know, and you can see people. There's some people come in and they're not as good as they think they are to start off with, and they're, you know, it's grand, and there's a place for them. But we get people who come in and they have no confidence. They have very low self-esteem. They have, maybe they are going through a few issues mentally that they don't want to talk about. But you can see the talent in them.
Oh yeah.
From the word go.
And everyone can learn it. That's
everyone can, if they want to put the time in, they'll learn. But what I see is sometimes people, as I said, they haven't discovered how good they are. They don't have belief in themselves. They don't believe they're that good. So what I can see is people sometimes they're being lazy. Maybe they're not giving me what I think they're capable of. And the other thing is I like to push them. Push them until they do realize that they are very good at what they do. We've seen people coming in that I've had people come over to me and say, and I encourage people to ask me sort of stuff, and they say, no, why do you always shout at me? Why do you pick on me? And say, because you're being lazy. You're being lazy, and the thing is, I've seen you one day when you're schooling people. You're really, really good at what you do. But the next day you come in and it's like,
that's
like,
over.
To be fair. Yeah, where you're
use me as an example, because I'm 100%. I'm the guy.
Where you're concerned, as I said, I've seen you come in on occasion, and don't get me wrong, people come into the gym, and in the gym, be a fitness gym, but you've seen it as a PT. You see people in different walks of life, and everyone has an off day. Maybe they're not feeling it that.
Yeah. Of course.
But it's one of these things. You feel under pressure. You have to go and train, or you have to go and do whatever it is. Those are the days I think that turn out the best sessions. Because you do have to work through it. You do have to take yourself out of that mindset and start to to train hard. I listen, as a coach, I train pretty much 7 days a week. And even I go, oh Jesus, I have to go and do this thing again. And you go down, and if I have a bad session, I'll text people and apologize. I'm sorry, because if I'm not feeling it, you aren't going to get a good session. And it's a hell of a mental thing whenever you're doing it.
Well, say whenever I was learning all these hard lessons about BJJ, but the thing I loved most about BJJ, and the reason I kept coming back, I was terrible to start, kept getting fucking choked out, arm bar, whatever it was, and then I had my own mad life going on at the same time, so I was going through drinking and taking drugs and all that other weekends, and I was trying to come in on a Monday and trying to train my unit, wasn't working, and I was doing a shit session, and then feeling bad about it. But the thing is, what I wanted to say is, about BJJ, I've trained in everything now. I've done kickboxing, I've done boxing, I've actually tried karate, believe it or not, judo, BJJ, and I've trained in the gym, and I train in the gym every single day. But the thing about BJJ I wanted to say is, whenever I'm in my head and shit's going wrong, and I'm thinking nothing but negative, and I'm thinking all these, well, they don't get it no more, but suicidal thoughts and the mad depression, you're always thinking about something when you're training all the time. See, in BJJ, you're thinking about nothing apart from what has happened on the mats. When I'm rolling with someone on the mats, never once do I have a thought, oh here I have to go home and do that later on, or I have to go to work tomorrow. Never once does that enter your head.
I think the difference with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is you're always put in uncomfortable positions. Do you know what I mean? And you have to figure your way out. You have to think your way out of it. And it's humbling. Regardless of what grade you are, or your fitness or whatever. We've seen them all come through the door, be it from rugby players to personal trainers to whatever.
They learn that lesson fast.
And they learn it is a different kind of fitness. But you're faced with problems all the time, and you have to try and work through them. So if you're thinking about something else, the next thing you know, either you're getting choked, or you're getting your arm pulled, or you're getting leg locked or whatever.
It happens that fast.
And it does, because you have to focus.
You have to be on the ball.
Coming down from maybe a hard day at work, or coming in, and maybe your head is on other things, and you're thrown onto the mat, and you have to sort of survive. From white belt through, you're basically surviving. Even as a black belt, you're surviving, because there's always somebody who's going to put you under pressure.
Oh yeah.
But you're faced with problems all the time, or not to say puzzles, not problems, puzzles.
Roadblocks.
That you have to try to figure out how to get out of, and you can't focus on it. You can't focus on anything else.
And the good thing is, I will say as well, for people who don't really understand the BJJ and haven't actually seen it, there's a tap in place. We always tap out. Everyone understands this. It's across the board. No one really ever gets hurt, almost never. but we're in positions where if you don't fucking tap out, you will get hurt. But that's always there. You know you have that safety net, and see that there. It's a big thing. Knowing that you can actually risk putting yourself in here and maybe like just try it out, see how it goes. Like I do it all the time. I throw myself in and white belts just choke me and leave me full of like a deck chair, and I'm going, well, I've been doing this years. How did this new guy get me? But everyone's different, and everyone you do generally learn off the.
You tend not to make the same mistake twice.
Well, that's the thing. You always learn off the white belts coming in. They always try something new, something different, some crazy thing that just you'd never try. But you always pick something up from it. It's all well, it's good. Like, and I always had that thing in my head as well. You look at a belt. I always look at the belts and thinking, this high belt here, he must be good. This low belt must be shit. That is not how it is. That is not the case.
Look at some of the grades we have.
That is not the fucking case.
Listen, as I said, we're lucky down in our place is that I keep telling people this. It's a gang of friends who just like to beat each other up. But you know, we all try to promote a good. It's like a family. You know, like we have connections with the bigger BJJ Revolution team. We have our closest connection is with the Team Rhino team in Dublin under my coach Andy Ryan, and Andy will always humble you. You know, regardless if I'm in the gym and I'm beasting everybody in it, Andy will come up and I'll get killed. You know, that's just
to make a point of it.
I mean, I think he does it for badness. You know, he just comes in and you get beat up. But as a team, and you can bring it back to the mental health thing. As a team, we're very supportive of each other. You know, we like to push people. We like to promote their businesses. We like to promote their whatever it is they're doing at the time. Going back a few years, when I had my own issues, and I still do. I still struggle with stuff every day, just the same as everybody else. And yeah, there was some visits to the doctors, and there was a lot of stuff going on that I don't tend to bring down to the gym. But you know, I phoned Andy. You know, Andy Ryan was on the phone to me. You know, and it wasn't a jiu-jitsu thing or anything like that. It was just a simple, how are you getting on? How are you feeling? You know, and having that support group from the guys. Now I'll speak to Shamey, I'll speak to yourself, I'll speak to John. The guys have been around me a long time. You know, so if I have something going on, they're the first people that I'll phone. But the first person generally I phone normally is I'll phone Andy. And you know, Andy will either give you that kick up the arse you need, or it'll be, you know, let's just chat about stuff in general.
It's funny how many times that I've felt like that distance himself or something you've been going on, you felt like you're just isolated and you have your tough times. And it's funny how many times that I've actually felt like I couldn't go to the gym, and then I've texted you or something, or just randomly and asked you, and you've just right away get to the fucking gym tomorrow.
Yeah.
Get here, be here. Doesn't matter, be here. Just don't give a fuck. You gotta be there. And it's a different. Every time you get down, Jesus, you feel many times better. It's hard to get into that routine of getting down to the gym all the time and convincing yourself. But like before I said there,
people have a life. They have work. They have family. You know,
you genuinely do forget it all.
To this extent that look, my kids are all grown up, but they've been around the gym since they were babies. You know, and I'm happy in the thing that I live with a cat who doesn't really give a shit whether I'm in the house or not, if the truth was told. So I can afford to go, to be there that much often, more often than other people. But it is one of those things that people do. Life gets in the way. They go off and they do other things, but invariably then I get a text. It might be a week, it might be a year, there's actually one of the guys coming back. He hasn't been with us 5 years. But he sent me a text. Well, what's the story? I'll see you later on.
Always coming back. If the team's always there, family's always there, the team is always there, and that's the good thing about it as well. Once you realise that, it's a good card to have. It's good to know that you've always got the boys there and the girls. In fact, I was going to say to the boys there, but the girls actually give you more beating than the fucking guys in our gym.
There's something weird about that. I think it's they're taking out on us what they would normally take out on their boyfriends or whatever.
You couldn't see many of them having boyfriends, then boy and girls are serious.
I tend to avoid it.
We'll talk about competitions and stuff like that there. I've only had a couple of competitions here, but we've had the big one. We went to the Europeans a few times.
We encourage people to compete. You know, they don't have to.
You're a fish out of water anyway, no matter what. It's always big deal. But
you know, you could be training in the gym and never leave it, and you could be really, really good in the gym, but you're never going to test how good you are.
The lesson you gave me, I'll never forget that. Actually, I'll bring out the very first time we went to Portugal for the European Championships. You were telling me to go on the mats every single day. You kept telling me the only thing that matters is mat time, but I was obsessed with running on the roads and doing weights and doing all this here stuff. And when I came to it, what happened? I got through about the fucking mats. Like the guy was like the Hulk, and I just get battered off the floor just like that. And you looked at me again. Peter has meant mat time. But I only learned that a few years later. It's not going to change nothing how fit you get there, how strong you get outside of doing BJJ or doing the actual sport itself, but you learn that, especially over that level. That level is serious.
I think we learn it as we get older. We sense kicks in.
Looking back on it, you're like, why the fuck, what was I thinking? But it's just the level compared to we were at a high level already going there. The fact that we were actually going over to compete proved we were our level already. But getting there and realising how small Ireland's team was compared to Russia, America, all these teams. There's still these other teams I've never heard of, and there's guys flooding the mats constantly. There's so many people, and you realise how big it actually is.
It's not only that, it's the pressure of, first of all, you're competing, and whenever you go out to compete, there's only you and the other guy, and in my case, it's like Andy shouting at me, or Carson Jr. shouting at me, but, you know, there's over 4,000 guys fighting, plus all the guys who are coming to watch, and they're all focused on the mat.
There's that one time where I think there was, when you were competing there, I think there was a time where there was Andy Ryan, there was like Arthur Ruff, Carson Gracie, there was all these kind of guys here who were giving people like you advice, and I'm watching that going, how the fuck? I couldn't make the connection. Like these are big. In any other sport, these are celebrities. These are the biggest celebrities you can get.
Yeah, but
but they're not even like that. They're
just teammates.
They're so calm about it. They don't care. They're just to see you as the same as them, and I love that about them guys. It's you wouldn't speak to like Arthur Ruff or Carson Gracie, and you wouldn't guess how good they were at anything. They wouldn't tell you. You wouldn't have a clue. There was no signal until you see them on the mats. I still have some of the techniques in my head that Carson Gracie taught me the very first time I met him. It was so long ago, and that'd be wrist lock, and I still do stuff like that. It just shows you the way they can teach you. Like,
no, these are guys who have been around a long time, you know, and they're just the nicest people. You know, I find that, you know, people that I've been associated with, again, I go back to Andy, I go back to John.
We've been very lucky. Like looking back on it, at the time we didn't actually know. I didn't know who these guys were to start. Like, but looking back on it, like we were fucking blessed. All the seminars you got us. Like,
and we still are. You know, there's still guys that drop in. There's still guys that call into the gym just to have a session, and they end up taking the class. The
guy said to me, like, so who have you seen? Who have you met? And all that. I'm like, oh, here, take a seat.
A lot.
It was only like last year. I think Shamie tagged me in a martial arts challenge. It was like 10 days. You remember that? It was like 10 days of like, I didn't realise. Fuck, I haven't got 10 photos. I had about 1,000 fucking pictures of all these really top elite level guys, and like just standing there hugging you and talking back on Andy. That was the time I got that blue belt. Andy Ryan, you were telling me a minute ago. I remember Rodrigo throwing me on the floor, you know, when you get your grade, and you done it, and Andy Ryan obviously made you fucking remember it. Turfed me clean in, came down on top of me, and now there one day I get my belt now. Can I go? That was awful. But I hope they get this guy on soon. We'll give him a wee text after this.
Oh yeah, give him a shout. Definitely, that will be an experience having Andy on.
I'll not even have to talk. He can tell you a whole lot. He'll just waffle. He has a hell of a lot of stories.
Andy's a brother to me. He's the loveliest man. So I have a lot of respect for him.
He's also the most horrible man, but he's really nice about it.
Yeah.
we're getting ahead. But so also another thing. We've talked about the BJJ. We've talked about the mental health side of things. We've talked about our club. But you've done a lot of refereeing also. That was like your big thing too. When I first seen you, it was actually refereeing. I think it was like Clan Wars or Cage Wars, something like that. There years and years and years ago.
I've been a referee since 2000. I was still an active fighter then in MMA. So Paddy Mooney, a big friend of mine who owns Cage Wars, reminds me that I was the only guy ever to referee, judge, fight and corner in the same night on a show.
Like.
But no, the refereeing has been, once I stopped fighting in MMA competitively and just concentrated on BJJ and coaching, I got into refereeing. I think it was between Paddy Mooney and Davey Patterson, who were on the old EFR shows. Got me into it. And from then I've just, you know, these were community centre shows or places like the Ramble up in Antrim, and I just kept plowing away at it, and I've been blessed that I still work for Cage Warriors, so I've been able to travel around the world with them. I've been still the only Irish official for the UFC until somebody maybe takes over. Hopefully, but it's going to happen. I'm not kidding myself that I'm going to stay the only Irish guy to work for the UFC. I worked for like a KSW, which is a big Polish show.
Yeah, it's getting massive now. I see.
They're back. They're back in a couple of weeks' time. I think Norman Park's
fighting. That's really sexy. Seen him on Facebook. It was yesterday, just actually.
So yeah, I've been lucky enough. Now I actually coach referees. You know, I take the course in Ireland for that.
You are, and you probably wouldn't say it yourself, but you are. Everyone, there's a lot of guys who might have an opinion of you. Maybe it's good or bad, but they'll never doubt your refereeing. Your refereeing has always been on point.
It's one of the, nobody likes to be a referee because you're always wrong. Either the guy who loses, you were wrong. The team that you're against or whatever.
You should have stopped that earlier.
Or you'd either stopped the fight too early, you've stopped it too late. You know,
I don't think you're really the guy that stops too late. You're safer, aren't you? You know,
it depends.
You can tell someone's fucking beat.
Yeah, but the thing is, you have a different kind of mindset. If it's an amateur show, or if it's a local show, there's not the same amount of money involved, or the same sort of, prestige. That you have to look at. If it's an amateur guy, I'm probably going to stop the fight a wee bit quicker than I would for a pro. You know, because these are only kids, they're coming out.
And the aggressions are like the
you know, you want them to get as many fights under the belt as they can. You know, you want the amateur side to be a learning experience. Before some of them might never go pro.
A lot of guys who come amateur and to do one fight and they'll just leave again because they didn't expect what happened. They're like, fuck that.
I've seen guys who have taken one fight, you know, just to experience it. You know, and it turns out it's not for them, and that's fine. You know, it's not for you, great. It takes a lot. It takes also a certain amount of madness, I think, to get into a cage and fight. So it takes it to get onto a mat and have a BJJ match, or to go into a ring for a boxing or kickboxing match or something, or to go into a cage. A cage is a different level. There's also a lot more goes into the preparation for a fight. You know, and this is again we have to go back to the mental health side of stuff. I've seen people, it's a case of, I don't think that you can make somebody into a fighter if they don't have it in them. You know, there's some people who just aren't strong enough mentally to do it. Yeah. And there's some people who are,
there's a lot of factors.
For every Conor McGregor there is, who is so focused, for Paul Redmond, Neil Seery, who are so focused on what they do. There is an amateur kid who will come out, he'll have one fight, he'll get punched in the face, and he'll go, right, you know, I don't want to do this anymore.
Fair play to those guys.
You know? And, you know, my view on that is, at least you give it a go. At least you took the chance and you put yourself out there. If you lose, it is what it is. You know, you'll either come back and you'll have another go, or you'll go, right, that's enough of that. But I've seen guys who just like to fight. You know, it's just in them. But by the same token, I've seen guys come into my gym who have like the best of gear. They talk the talk. I want to do this. I want to do this, and you go right. They put the time in, and then you put them into a cage, or you put them onto the mat, and no,
the whole world starts.
They just don't have it. You know, and I think after doing that a couple of times, I figured out that I can't make you something that you're not.
Yeah, you've got to go.
You have to experience it.
You have to have a certain level of aggression for a start, a certain level of calm also.
I wouldn't even say it's aggressive. Anyone can be aggressive. You know, you've seen some of the biggest cards in the world be aggressive to people. I think it's a certain mindset that makes a fighter. You know,
100%.
That, you know, you accept the fact that you're going to get punched in the face. You accept the fact that it's going to hurt. You know, because nobody likes to get punched. Yeah, I didn't get this good looking. I wasn't born this way. You know.
That's another great point too. No one thinks they can take a punch.
No, until you get punched in the face.
And you realise, fuck, I'm not made of glass. I can take a few of these. Like.
But you know, it does take. It's a certain mindset, you know, you see some of the guys. But in saying that, if you ever have the chance, a really, really good friend of mine, Neil Seary, did an interview. I think he did it with Severe MMA or something. You'll have to look it up, where he talked about his demons. You know, and he fought in the UFC, and he was really, really good at it.
I was a massive fan of
Do you know what I mean?
He was brilliant.
Seary is one of those guys, and he, you know, I've known Neil a long time, and he's a really good lad.
Did he get the fight night as well one time?
He did. I think he got fight night a couple of times actually. But
he was so good.
He did this while kneeling down a full-time job, while looking after his family. But Neil also, and none of us knew it, but maybe Andy did. I didn't realise at the time. A man struggled. Mentally, he struggled.
Yeah.
You know.
Still got up every morning.
It wasn't until after he retired that he sat down and he said, "Look, this is the deal." And I remember listening to watching the interview and going, "Jesus, you know, I didn't realise that at all."
That is what creates you as well, and that's what makes you. Well, it could break you, or it could make you having them demons. But like you said, step into the cage.
You see a lot of guys, a lot of sports people that, you know, and it's something that I dread because jiu-jitsu and the gym and the team have helped me out over the years whenever I was having my issues. But you dread whenever this stops. You know, I have a feeling I have a couple of years left. I mean, maybe. Do you know what I mean? And at that stage, you're sort of going, right, this is going to end. And then what am I going to do?
Well,
you know, I'm kind of lucky that I have a few other things that keep me occupied, you know, sort of, and focused on other things. But eventually, in a sport, you know, it is going to come to an end. And you have to sort of go, right, what am I going to do?
I think you'll probably stand on the mats coaching people until you're 80.
I would love to. I would love to be still in and around.
And I think you'd be appreciated to do that too, because you'd have the knowledge already.
But it is one of those things, as I say, it is going to. And you see, like, you look at boxers who turn to drink, or, you know, they end up in jail, or you see footballers that do the same thing.
You don't even drink at all.
No, that's
a thing.
People go on about that. It's weird. If you tell somebody you don't smoke, they go, "That's really, really good." And then you say, "I don't drink." Is there something fucking wrong with you?
I've tried to buy a drink a million times. Hope you just say, "Oh, I want to."
Why you don't drink? No, I just don't like the taste. That's it. In a nutshell, I just don't like the taste of it.
I always thought it was crazy. You love to come out. You still come out. You come out with us, and you still all the staff do is you still come out and stand there and just laugh at us.
Yeah, because
we all get steaming.
It's like a comedy show. Because whenever you are all like, and besides, somebody has to look after the children. So that's normally falls down to, until I hear the word tequila, and then I go, right, that's enough of that.
Some of them boys can't drink. Like sometimes they're terrible holding a drink.
He's all ditched me. This is a true story. I was a judge at UFC Belfast. The last show was in Ireland, and I sorted all these guys out with tickets. Right, all pre-order. There was no struggling for tickets that day for that show. No. I sorted all the tickets. Right, I'm getting texts from people while I'm standing cage side. UFC, I'm getting a text. Give us a wave.
Give us a wave.
It's dark. Where are you? You know, until the show ended, and I go, right, where's all the boys heading out? And I text, and I rang. Nobody answered.
You were too far gone by that point.
Nobody answered. I had to go home. Right. Well, you lot were all out in the town, hammered. It's in the book, that one.
it's in the book.
It'll come back.
Listen, what do you think? I think we covered most of the stuff we wanted to talk about. I think we can stop with that, can we?
And may I just say, this is the first time his Tourette's hasn't kicked in.
I
Do you want to know why? I'll tell you for why. Because we did a thing in the gym the other night, and I said I was going to put out a competition that if people could text in and guess how many times he swore in the course of this conversation, you get a free PT session.
Some of the numbers I'm not even going to discuss because the numbers, like some of the guesses I heard, made me realise. So I've probably cursed a few times. Or I know
less than 100 or more than 100.
It was over 100. It was over 100. Most people were banking on more than 100. So I think doing. I don't even.
You're very polite.
I don't know about 10 out of them.
No, you're very polite. I appreciate that.
I was alright.
Me being a Christian and all, I
was afraid of choking me on my own podcast. I was afraid of getting choked out on my own podcast. I didn't want that to happen. It probably still happening from this camera off.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you very much. I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thanks for having me.